This was used as a makeshift morgue.
These bodies were floating down the river. You know, they were collecting these bodies from the water and storing them in the basement of this bank.
The lights tend to go nuts. We get open and closing doors.
Sometimes you just have to, like, bring out everything, and that's what we did.
This is going off. That's going off. This is going off.
You try to recreate the environment where activity is most extreme as often as possible, and this was exactly that.
Sounds like we need a band.
What does one do when an entire room full of electronics starts going off and there is legit no cause? I mean, that's insane. Oh.
Oh my God.
That's going off. Everything is going crazy in
right here.
I'm Adam Berry.
And I'm Amy Bruni.
And this is Kindred Spirits Inside the Investigation. So this building was a bank originally, and then it was a restaurant. And a lot of the things inside of this restaurant bank are original to the bank. I know that the activity that they're having here is all the time. Things are being thrown, they hear voices, they see apparitions. People do leave mid-meal.
Oh, yeah.
And say, you know, I see a little child over there, or something is happening, and then they get up and they exit, which is not good for business.
The lights tend to go nuts. We get open and closing doors.
We were called in by Stacy, and she's been working at the restaurant for a number of years. And I think that she kind of saw the way that we investigate, and they just really wanted to get answers as to who was there and wanted to know if there was anything that they could do for them.
And rumor has it, in '55 when we had the large flood that took out everything, including some cemeteries, this was used as a makeshift morgue.
So there was a massive flood in Derby, Connecticut, and all of these cemeteries were washed out and these bodies were floating down the river. You know, they were collecting these bodies from the water and storing them in the basement of this bank.
But there's also a lot of lore around it. It kind of seemed like every building in Derby claims to have been a makeshift morgue when this happened.
We have a gentleman that comes down the steps that you guys came down, lands on the landing down there, and then you realize he's not a man, you could see through him.
One of the most prevalent ghosts at the Twisted Vine is this gentleman they see in a long coat and a top hat.
Does he ever acknowledge anyone else or look at anyone or say anything?
Just comes straight down, kind of lands, and then he's gone.
A lot of people name their spirits, and I don't know if that's to humanize them, but in this instance, they called their ghost Sam. Does he respond to Sam?
With lights.
So he'll turn on the lights and stuff?
He will flicker lights.
Okay.
Whether or not his name was Sam, we were gonna just use the same terminology that they use in hopes to get interaction with him.
We always say the music must attract him down, because that seems to be when we see him. I never actually physically see anybody, except when there's music.
Sounds like we need a band.
You try to recreate the environment where activity is most extreme as often as possible, and this was exactly that. We had to just sit and like quietly investigate, and it felt kind of odd because they were really, really performing. And we were walking around with our cameras and SLS, but it worked.
Yeah. What's cool about the SLS footage is the entity is there, and then it's interacting with us, and then they're like, and cut off, and disappear.
Yeah.
Gone.
Weird. Gone when the music stopped.
Yeah, it's so strange.
Yeah, really cool.
Interesting stuff in this building.
We brought Chip into the investigation because we wanted to see what kind of vibes he got from the building as far as whether he picked up on the bank activity or if he picked up on maybe the flood activity, like what he got. And he did pick up on the bank for sure.
You've got some illegal activity that happened in this building? Money changing hands.
We hadn't heard anything along those lines, so that gave us kind of a new avenue to investigate.
Let's see if we can play with that sugar thing and see if we can get it to fall or...
Absolutely.
What I found so interesting and what kind of made us think that maybe this spirit had some sort of like attachment to the building was that I kind of said something a little that could be perceived as insulting.
I have seen rats in restaurants knock entire glasses and stuff off shelves.
Yeah. But what about the other...
Oh my God.
That's going off. Everything is going crazy
right
in
here.
What does one do when an entire room full of electronics starts going off around you while you're investigating and there is legit no cause. I mean, that's insane.
It was almost like, don't you dare infer that there are rodents in this building. It was honestly one of the wildest moments for me in an investigation.
This was an electric case. Electronics, electronics, electronics. I mean, that's the title of the episode, should be electronics, I mean, right? Electronics, y'all. I mean, we blanket every case we ever do with DVR cameras, and we try to capture stuff. And in this instance, you know, in the attic, you see this anomaly.
See that?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens to the DVR when that shows up?
Oh, it just stopped.
It stops recording for like 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and then it picks back up again at the time it should be picked back up. I feel like this ghost was controlling, and he was really not happy with we were trying to catch him on camera. This is weird.
Deceased, highly respected in Derby, Leslie had been connected with the bank 25 years.
None of our evidence was pointing to flood victims, and that's when we started looking at the bank. And that's when we found out the story of Samuel Leslie.
Cashier of the Birmingham National Bank here committed suicide in a vault in Oak Cliff Cemetery.
Also, they called him Sam. Like,
They did
what?
call him Sam. And that was the crazy thing. How many times do people name their ghosts and then we're like, that person never existed here? But they actually got the name right.
We need to blanket this place with anything that can be manipulated.
Yep.
REM pods,
Anything
K2s,
electronic.
the flux.
On the last night, we just wanted to like finalize that yes, we were talking to Sam Leslie. And so we just pulled out everything, including Chip Coffee.
He was just up there looking down on you.
He was?
Yep. So he's watching already.
I
Stairs,
saw
on
a
the stairs.
shadow.
What?
I did too.
You saw it?
Yeah.
The shadow figure down the steps, undeniable, really cool. It was like the only time that happened the entire time, and the equipment was going crazy.
Yeah.
Mr. Leslie, did you actually kill yourself?
This is going off. That's going off. This is going off.
I think we got our answer that night, thank goodness. Sometimes you just have to like bring out everything, and that's what we did.
Samuel H. Leslie of Derby found dead in coffin box. Oh, boy.
Right.
Sam.
I think it was really imperative that Sam was identified. Like, we now know who Sam really was and why he's so attached to the building. And so now they know that he loves that building as much as they all do.
I think it would be great, like, whenever you guys can, to just kind of pay your respects and you know, maybe just have something here in the restaurant for him so people remember his legacy and what he went through.
New dinner special.
This was a great case, I think. We were able to present factual information and find out who this guy was, and it just helps the people that work there. They can continue to talk to Sam.
So nothing to be afraid of, though.
No, definitely not.
No.
I can't thank you guys enough.
Thanks for watching, and for more Kindred Spirits content, head to Travel Channel Go.